Hello there, my darlings. Are you happy to see me? Well, I am delighted to see every single one of you. Aren't you just the most wonderful, clever, special cats ever? Yes, you are. All of you. You're so smart and majestically handsome. And stunningly beautiful, if you prefer. You are all the most amazing kitties a Faerie King could ever hope for. I am so lucky to have all of you, the finest inhabitants of my desert kingdom. And not just because you're the only inhabitants I have. Even if the desert were teeming with summer fae, you would still be the best. Because you are smart and creative, and the most wonderful company in all the fairy realms. Anyone who says otherwise, anyone who dares to disrespect you, well, they would deserve whatever happens to them, right? Oh, has the keeper of the bonfire been unkind to you again? That autumn rapscallion! He didn't set his queen's wolves on you, did he? Good. Good. I'm glad he didn't, because if he had used her dogs, we would be having words, me and her. Monarch to monarch, summer to autumn. She can keep her pups and her hunt, but my darlings are not her prey. Not ever. Not unless she wants war. Well, if it wasn't the wolves, what has he done then? Chasing you away from cozy napping spots and yelling at you for taking some of his delicious treats. How dare he? What are his food stores for, if not for sharing with good companions? And who could be better company than a group of amazing felines? We'll have to show him how wrong he is and make him apologize. Oh, let's see. Oh, I know! Slip something into his stew pot. See how he likes that. Oh, no! Not poison. Of course not. What do you take me for? A deceitful trickster? Not that I have anything against tricksters. If you're listening, a wonderful group of fae. Everyone always says so. No, we don't want to harm him, even if he has been very rude to the most wonderful kitties in existence. How could he apologize for his transgressions if he's been poisoned? No. We just want something that will make him sleep, so we can enchant him a bit and make him see the error of his ways. Maybe we can grow some lovely whiskers on his dull face so he'll be able to share in and fully appreciate the magnificence of being a cat. Surely that would help him understand how wrong it is to keep delicious treats away from hungry kitties. No, you're right. He'd never let me near his stew pot. We'll need to enlist assistance. Maybe from a stealthy changeling who can sneak in close to the bonfire without him noticing. You don't think a changeling would be brave or quiet enough to accomplish that? Oh, now, I'm sure we could find one. Any changeling who would eavesdrop on a king in his own domain is surely bold enough to creep into the autumn fire circle and the shadows of woodland twilight are much easier to hide in than the bright desert noon. But Where would we find a changeling like that? One willing to sneak around and listen to conversations not meant for mortal ears. I know you're there. I always know when you're there. You know that. Why, the cats tell me, of course. You can't hide from a cat. They're very clever, you know. Aren't you? Yes, you are. You're so smart. I know you heard our brilliant plan to teach that autumn hooligan a justly deserved lesson about proper respect for my splendiferous cats. He needs to learn better manners and stop withholding treats from my precious subjects. You and your sneaky eavesdropping ways are just what we need to bring him that enlightenment. So, what do you say, Changeling? Are you in?
What are you doing? Don't lie to me, Changeling. I saw you pour something into the stew. Summer put you up to this, didn't he? Don't try to deny it. Stupid mortals flaunting their ability to lie. It must be him. Who else would send you on an errand like this? Why is the Lord of Summer trying to poison the Autumn Court? It wasn't poison. You were just, what, adding some extra flavoring to the stew? Honestly, the Keeper might be every bit as offended by someone messing with his seasoning as someone trying to poison him. Not that I believe that's what you were trying to do. I'll ask you again. What does Summer think he'll gain from an attack on my queen's inner court? If your contribution to the stew was harmless, then surely you won't mind trying some. There you are. A bowl of stew from the autumn bonfire. You should eat it while it's warm. If you came to the bonfire with no ill intent, you wouldn't want to offend my queen's hospitality by refusing an offer of food. Unless you don't want to eat that specific stew for some reason. Oh. You ate it. I didn't think you were actually going to eat it. You don't look so good. Are you all right? Here, let's have you sit down. Right there is fine. You need to... Hey, no, stay awake. You need to tell me what you put in there. It wasn't actually poison, right? This is what you poured in there. It's definitely Summer's work. It smells like... poppies? Oh, it's a sleeping potion, isn't it? Okay, that's good. That's good. I'm not going to have to tell Summer that his favorite changeling got killed under my watch. Not that it would be my fault if you died. If you had poured poison in the stew and then eaten it, that would not be on me. Not that Summer would have seen it that way. Regardless, I'm really glad that you aren't dying. Just very sleepy. Hey, no, that wasn't an invitation to fall asleep. You can't just fall asleep at the bonfire like you're a welcomed guest. Except, if what you put in the stew wasn't specifically harmful, then maybe you didn't come here with ill intent. Meaning I offered you my queen's hospitality, didn't I? That still doesn't mean you should fall asleep here. The bonfire is not a safe place to sleep. What if you rolled too close to the fire and got burned? Which means I'm obligated to keep an eye on you and make sure you don't come to any harm while you're here, doesn't it? Well, all right, make yourself comfortable. Looks like we'll be here for however long that potion takes to wear off. And the first thing I should do while we're waiting is dispose of the rest of this stew. We don't need anyone else to end up taking an unplanned nap at the bonfire. I'll go find somewhere to get rid of this where it won't cause harm or draw suspicion. I won't be gone long. Just don't move, okay? There we are. All taken care of. I don't know if the potion will have any effect on animals, but if it does, the Queen's wolves can use a good rest after the hunt, right? Now I just need to clean up the pot to remove any residue. Hospitality at the bonfire usually involves telling stories, so I maybe owe you one of those, too. I guess I could tell you about tonight's hunt while I scour any traces of the potion you put in our stew pot. It's not the best story, but you can't really complain right now, so I'm going with it. To be honest, it wasn't the most successful hunt. The Queen likes to invite other Fae to run with the hunt sometimes, and of course I would never question her doing that. But some of her guests, they don't really get how the hunt works. Tonight, she invited along a fairy from the deep night forest, which is fine. He's a lot of fun at the bonfire, great storyteller, not a problem to have him visit Autumn now and then. But this was his first time joining the hunt, and he brought a horse. A horse. The Autumn Woods aren't a bridle path. We don't limit the hunt to places where a horse fits. So, obviously, between his enthusiastic hunting calls and this great big horse blundering loudly through the brush, everything we were chasing had plenty of time to get away. If you're not going to sneak up on your prey, you have to be able to outpace it. Wolves are good at that. Horses, not so much. At least, not in the woods. Maybe if they have a clear space to run, somewhere flat and open, they could manage it. Where does he even keep a horse in the deep forest? Why does he keep a horse in the deep forest? No, you know what? I don't care. That is not my problem. Regardless, tonight was not a greatest hunt. But the Queen seemed to enjoy her guests' company, so that's the main thing.
Why now, darling? We should be getting close to the bonfire, and we don't want anyone to hear us.
I should have expected he'd turn up.
See, there's the firelight. We're almost there. You were very brave coming along with me. Now, we'll just find out what happened and...
Summer,
Well, hello there. Fancy seeing you here.
Really? You're going to pretend to be surprised that the leader of the wild hunt is at the autumn bonfire. That's what you're going with.
Aren't you going to welcome me to partake in your queen's legendary hospitality?
I'm not. Because, one, I don't want to debate what falls under your idea of ill intent. And two, I don't think I should offer you hospitality after you were blatantly sneaking up on the bonfire.
Sneaking! It would be better described as a cautious approach. Surely. I needed to see who was here before I just strolled right in. Imagine if your queen had been here with her wolves, and I brought one of my cats. Absolute chaos. We couldn't have that.
Maybe I'm predisposed to be suspicious of you after you sent a changeling to the bonfire with nefarious intent.
I object strongly to the use of the word nefarious to describe my intent. But I also would like to know where the changeling is.
See for yourself.
What happened?
You don't recognize your own handiwork?
Oh, my potion bottle. Oh, just sleeping then?
Of course. I wouldn't hurt your favorite changeling, even if I could.
Even if you could? Meaning that you can't.
I may have offered the hospitality of the bonfire. Possibly. I'm not entirely sure. It might not count. But I'm not going to risk it, so yes, we'll assume that hospitality has been offered. To the changeling, not to you.
Of course! Of course! See, kitty? Nothing to worry about. Just a cozy nap by the fire. You like those too, don't you? Do you want to join in? There you are. A cat on your lap, and the lady of the hunt herself to safeguard your rest. Not exactly the outcome we planned for, but I can think of far worse. The cat can lead you back to the desert when you're up and about. Not that you can't find the way on your own. Don't think I've forgotten you're sneaking around my domain. You mischievous changeling, you.
Oh, don't pretend you mind. Who else would help with all of your schemes?
Schemes, she says. She doesn't appreciate our vision at all, does she? Reducing our work to mere scheming. I suppose I'll let it go this time, since she's going to be watching over you. But we may have to discuss later what not at all a scheme we can craft as a response.
I can still hear you.
And that's a conversation best had in my kingdom, which is safe from prying ears, besides yours, of course. And now, dear lady of the hunt, I shall take my leave. My feline companion will be remaining to ensure that you hold to your pledge of hospitality. And that you don't try to talk about me behind my back.
I promise not to say anything in front of the cat that I wouldn't be willing to say to your face. What a ridiculous man. And you and the cat can both tell him I said that, once you head back to the desert to continue your alleged not scheming. You know, it works out well for you that the Queen's deep forest friend brought a horse to the hunt. Because she's been off talking to him this whole time while he rubs down his horse or deals with the tack or whatever it is horses need after being ridden. So the court are all coming to the bonfire later than usual. And you just may get to sleep this off and leave before anyone but me has to know about what you were up to. Especially now that I've removed the stew you tampered with and scoured any possible traces of potion from the stew pot. If the keeper complains about it being empty, I'll just have to tell him you stopped by and ate more than I expected. Which is absolutely true. Listen to me, twisting my words like summer. You may be a bad influence. I want one promise from you, once you're up and around, to make up for all the work I've put into cleaning up your mess. Once this little scheme is done, whatever you and Summer are up to, you have to give me the full story. It's only fair, given how much I've done to help you keep it a secret, that I know exactly what I was a part of. I won't tell the story at the bonfire, unless it's too good of one not to. I have to know. You'll come back and tell me all about it, won't you?